Hi, I'm Loretta. Welcome. What I'd like us to do in the very beginning is for us to begin to take a few breaths and to notice the quality of those breaths. And by that, what I mean is, are you breathing deeply? Do you breathe shallow? Do you hold your breath in here and expel it quickly and not all the way? I'm not sure. Everybody has different breath patterns at different times. And for whatever emotions anybody is feeling, there's a breath pattern for it. But for this morning, let's look at taking some deep breaths and doing our best to expand it into our tummy, into our belly, and fill our bellies first and bring it up and exhale. And let's do a few of those and just see how fluid we can become with it. And like I said, let's pay attention to the quality of breath today. That's something I'd really like us to focus on. So let's begin by breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now your first few breaths may not come all the way. You may not be able to bring them into your belly. That's okay. Just notice where we begin today. And let yourself settle into your body. On our next breath, let's take a deep inhale. And for our exhale, let's exhale to the sound of Om together. So here we go. Very good. And let's begin our practice with our arms up and down, up and down. Now sit on the edge of your chair with your legs hips width apart. Let's take a couple more of these. This will give us the right posture for all of our practice. Now when you come down, bring your hands together and up and around. Feel those shoulders crack, up and around. That rotator cuff. This is what really gets that, and it really moves it and gets your fluids moving there. So let's do a couple more. And when you work with your arms, you're directly bringing in your heart and your lungs into every practice you have. Last one. And bring our hands and say out and in. A couple more of these. Last one. And bring your hands down. And let's take and bring our hands to our shoulders. And let's take elbow rotations, elbow circles. And let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go the opposite direction. And drop your hands, bring them together, clasp them, push them out, and bring them up into your high altar pose with your head sitting directly between your arms and your head looking up and your offering. Whatever meager anything that anybody has on this planet is offered. And then you receive by coming back down. Let's offer one more time. Take a couple of breaths. And then turn your hands and bring them down into your head and receive whatever there is to receive. And bring your hands down. And let's move to our shoulders. Let's begin by doing the up and down, up and down. One more, up and down. And then let's do the turning them in, turning your wrists in and out, in and out. And see how those shoulders get moved. Again, we're stirring up those fluids. One more. And come on back and bring yourself to the center. Let's also begin by taking a few of our goddess circles, because that's really what my body's calling to me right now to do. So I'm going to honor that. And we're just going to say to the front, to the side, to the back, to the side. And let's take 3 of these. There's the second one. Come all the way around. And there's the third. Stop. Go the opposite direction, to the side, to the front, to the side, to the back, and come on around. One more, and come to center. Let's take our shoulder shrugs, and while we're at it, and that's a lot like up and down, but let's bring our neck into it really a lot. And let's take, say, 5 shrugs, deep shrugs, where we include our neck and our face and we scrunch it all up. And let it go. You can make noises if you want and let it go. Noises help me. And let it go. 2 more. And at that point, what I really like us to start doing is let's do this shoulder move of bringing your arms like swimming. Sorry if my patter is a little bit off just now. I'm noticing that I'm just a little bit off, but I believe that the yoga takes care of itself, and I'll be right back with you as soon as I get my being into center. So let me do that. And let's move to our head and our neck. Let's take our figure 8 on the side, our infinity circles. Check out how our neck feels. Bring it back to center. Take some no's, shaking your head. No, 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 no. What I'd like to encourage you to do today, and come on back to center, is to see if you can do your practice with your eyes closed. Does that feel comfortable to you? Because I believe it brings an awareness of self that contributes to your well-being when you're doing yoga. If you can close your eyes. If you need to look at me, that's okay. And I know I'm pretty good about saying do this and then not saying what it is and showing you. I'm going to really practice on not doing that today. I'm going to really be explicit with my directions and see if we can keep our eyes closed during part of it anyway, if it feels safe enough to you. Please just go ahead and try that. And let's take our head and shake it or nod it. Yes. 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 And bring it back to center. And lift your head all the way up, bringing your chin up. Open yourself up. Drop your arms. Open your throat. Open your heart. Open your solar plexus. Open your pelvic floor. And feel this all the way down to your toes while you're breathing. And then take your finger and gently bring it back down to your sternum, all the way down to your chest. And let yourself feel that stretch in your neck and your upper back and your shoulders and those rotator cuffs I keep talking about today. One more deep breath. And bring your chin back up. And how does your head feel? Take a couple more infinity circles. My head feels pretty good when we're starting off today. So We'll see how we progress. Okay, let's move down and start activating our spinal column by doing circular motions, just gently touching your kidneys, touching your back, activating our body, our torso. Now bring your left hand and bring it to your right knee. And in this case, you can put your hand anywhere you want, but I'm going to put mine over today. And we're going to do some circular twists for spinal movement. And just for today, try it with your eyes closed and see if that makes a difference with how your neck feels. I think you'll be surprised by the results. So let's take a deep breath. We're going to do 3 twists. So deep breath in and twist. Remember not to pull yourself, but to use your torso to twist. One more. And come on back around and go to the other side. Is it making a difference with your eyes closed? I think it makes a difference in the tenseness of the neck. I think it releases that a lot. That's just my experience anyway. So deep breath in and turn. Another breath in and turn. One more. Keep your head happy and come on back to the center. Remember everything we do to protect your neck, because that's going to go a long ways towards keeping you healthy for the remainder of your life. Your neck and your spine are in alignment. So speaking of alignment, let's go and let's take a goddess pose. So sit on the edge of your chair, heels are pointed in, toes are pointed out. Sit up straight, bring your hands up, and let's breathe deeply for 3 breaths. Or thereabouts anyway. Last inhale, coming up. Inhale deeply. And exhale. Now bring your hands in and let's clap. Ha! 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 Take 2 more. Ha! Ha! Bring your hands back to your knees. And now let's take, okay, this is a little harder, but I'd like you to come down with one arm down onto the side and bring your other arm up. It's a straddle, it's a sideward bend, and we're using our goddess pose to direct us there. It's a little bit of a reach, but I love how it feels on the waist. You can go slow. There's no rush movements here. However your body feels it is how to do it. You don't have to come all the way down. If you can only reach here, reach here. If you can come down to the floor, it's a little more effective. One more on the other side. And come on back up. Now let's take and move our feet in to our hips width apart. Remember, you can use your fists to get that. Make fists, bring them straight down, put them in between your feet. That's an approximation, but it's close enough for what we do. Sit on the edge of your chair, and let's begin by putting your hands on your waist and going back and forth, side to side. The only thing we're moving is our waist and our torso. We're not moving our hips, we're keeping them still. One more on each side. And then come to center, and then put one hand, and in this case, I'm putting my right hand in back of me on the chair. I'm going to lift my left hand up, and we're going to do some sideward bends and open up those side panels, remembering that we're opening up channels of energy. So take 3 deep breaths and come down a little lower with each one, and take that stretch as wide as you can, feeling your energy with you. So, and over. If it's more comfortable and you can bend further, you can drop your arm further. Keep your heart open though. And let's come on back up. Go to the other side. Bringing the arms straight up. Now, I'm going to tell you what happens for me and see if it might be true for you or not. But when I breathe deeply and bend and keep my heart open, there's like this whole light that it's almost like there's a time that comes through and hits me in the face and the heart and the chest. And it feels really, really good to take this position and just kind of corral that energy. And come on back up. And bring yourself to the center. And let's take some cat-cow. And so let's begin in the cow. Come on up. Come on back for the cat. Come on up, bringing your chin up, expanding your chest, coming back, dropping your chin, and coming in, coming back up. This is a spinal move. So we're rotating our spine when we're doing this and our neck. Let's take one more. Now, as we continue with the cat-cow, let's begin with our right leg. So, and as we take a cat, lift your right leg. You can drop your, oh, see, the hands are still an issue, but come on back down. Okay, here we go. Up and in. Dancing cat. Let's take 5 on each side. That's 3, 4, and we take them with the cat. 5. On the next one, come up, lift it over, and let's just open that leg. Lift it out if you can. Take some circular motion or some side to side. We're beginning to open up our legs and our sits bones and the inner thigh workings. And then bring it back and put it down. Let's go ahead and go to the other side with our cat-cow, dancing cow. So, dancing cat. There's 3. We're going to take 5. I seem to do it better on this side than I did the other. I don't know what that's about, but I'll take it. Come on back to the center. And just move side to side just a little. Balance out your sits bones. Make sure you're sitting up straight. And come on back to center. Let's bring our hands up, put them behind our head. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some folds down over our laps. And the important thing on this is I want you to extend your back by hinging at the hips, extend your back flat and come down and up. Down and up. Take 2 more. We're working our waist and our tummies here. Yoga is about opening up the energy patterns. Let's take our arms and circle them a few times. And stop and go in the other direction. And come on back. I'm just feeling the need to move side to side a lot today. So I think what I'd like us to do is to stand up and let's do something with that side to side movement. All right. I'm going to turn my chair so you can see me, but know that you do this from the front of the chair. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to put my hands on the chair, just holding me. Nothing special. Put my feet spread and just kind of tilt them in a little bit of the goddess position where your heels are pointed in and your toes out. Then I want you to go back and forth from side to side, bending a knee each time. And we're going to open up the back of our legs and our kneecaps, even our Achilles tendons. These are really good for that. I told you this time I'd give you more legs, didn't I? 1 more on each side. And come on back to center. And just because we're here and we're opening up our legs, let's come to the side of our chair, step back with the foot closest to the chair. Yeah, that's right. And then let's take some knee bends. Let's take 5 of them. You can use the chair for balance if you need it. And then take and straighten your legs. One foot is slightly in back of the other. Put your hands on your hips and push back with your hips so that you're actually extending your back to a flatness. You can hold the chair if you like. Drop your hand down and touch the floor if you can. You're opening the backs of your legs. Keep your legs straight. Your hips are pushed back as opposed to bending over. Take one more deep breath and come on back up. And with that, let's move into a warrior one. So, leaving your foot in the back exactly where it is, move your front foot forward just a little, or however much you need. You can extend it out an inch or two to give your hips plenty of room for kind of settling in. Bend your front knee, lift your arms up, bring yourself back into the warrior one. This pose, you push with your back knee, you're reaching with your arms and the rest of your body, your torso. You're coming up out of a deep hole. That's what this pose is. It's a person digging their way through earth and coming up and saying hello, coming up through a floor of earth. So you can feel the movement of pushing with the back legs and really extending and pulling up. And then come on back down. And we're going to take the humble warrior. The humble warrior brings the arms up into the back. You fold over the front leg. You can touch the chair. It's no harm, no foul. You can bring your hands back and clasp them together, or you can just bring them back. And breathe. Don't forget to breathe. And come on back up. Into the star. And as we come into the star, your back foot is placed in the correct position. You're facing your chair with your hips. Your other foot comes back out again. Take it a couple of inches further so that you can bend your knee. Your heels are lined up. Your hips are facing the chair. Bring your arms up. And look over. And breathe. Keeping your hips facing the chair now. Down, can you see your 2 toes? Yes. Then your legs are in the right position. 2 more deep breaths. And then drop your back arm, raise your front arm, come all the way over, and breathe. This is the reverse warrior. Now you're waiting and listening. That's what you're doing in this pose. 1 more deep breath. Come on back to the center, turn into the star. And bring yourself together. And I'm going to do mine from the side. And it's going to be the warrior 3. And let's go into the warrior 3. So the warrior 3, you begin to center your energy and your weight onto the leg closest to the chair. Raise the other leg straight up. Bend with each as far as you can go. Bringing your leg up, then you can drop your hand to the chair, come straight forward, and you're flying. Bring your foot up and back and point your toes as high as you can. And come on back down. And we're going to go to the other side. So let's begin. Standing at the front of our chair on the side, stepping back with the foot closest to the chair. And let's begin with our knee bends. We're going to do 5. That's 3. Then take those hips, straighten your legs completely. Push the hips back and out so that you have a relatively straight spine. Drop down to the floor in the front, if you can. You can drop with both arms if you can, keeping your legs very straight so that all of the back length is opening up completely. You can use the chair, and then come on back up. The warrior 1 from here moves your front foot forward a little, out to the side a little so you make more space for your hips. You bend your front knee, and you come up and back and look up at your hands. Warrior 1. And breathe. One more breath. And let's come on back down into our humble warrior. Come on back down into our humble warrior, which brings us back and over our knee with our hands pointing up and back and our head bowed. And we're breathing. And come on back up and take the star, which leads us into the warrior 2. So leaving your back foot the way it is, you're facing the chair with your hips. Bring your front foot out enough that you can bend it and see your toes, and your knee is over your ankle. Okay? Still looking at your hips being pointed towards the chair, lining up your heels. And then bringing your arms out. When your hips and arms are in the right positions, turn your head and breathe. Take a couple more breaths. Raise your front arm, drop your back arm. This is the reverse warrior. You're still bending your knee. You're bringing your arm over your head. You're looking under your armpit. Your hips are still face forward, and you're breathing. A couple more breaths here. Bring your arms back out and go into the star. And come back to the front. And let's go ahead and take our downward facing dog and those leg stretches. So let's bring our hands to the chair, spreading our fingers equally with our thumbs as well. I know that the chairs tend to be smaller. If we were on the floor, we would bring our hands out a little bit more, but we're not. And this will support us really well. All right, step back as far as you can without being on your toes. Stay flat-footed. Arms are in front of you. Your head lines up with your shoulders. Drop your shoulders, raise your butt, and straighten your legs. And breathe. Keeping your feet hips width apart makes it a lot easier. A couple more breaths here. This gives our whole body a stretch. Come on back up, and let's move into a semi-plank. Go to tip of your toes, Pulls you up and over so that your head and your shoulders are now even with the chair. Not even, but your head is looking straight so that your body is straight. Now, here's the setup for a Chaturanga push-up. All you do is lower your chest into the center and raise it. You're not moving your arms. You're lowering your chest and bringing it back up. And you're breathing. And come on back up. And I think you'll agree with me that the wide-legged downward facing dog is easier and for me more fun. But it's the same concept. Your hands are spread evenly, your feet are back, your legs are wide, your head is in between your shoulders. Drop your shoulders, raise your bum, and straighten your legs. Downward facing dog, wide-legged. And breathe. Take a few deep breaths here. Two more. And drop your hands, walk them back to your legs, bring them out to your feet, and let's stand like this if you can. If you can't bring them to your feet, then bring them to your legs, and just feel the dynamics of an inverted pose, where your body doesn't have to work so hard to pump the blood up to your head and your heart. Drop your head. It's a lot like a rag doll if you were up a little higher. If you need to do a rag doll, go ahead and do that. And then there's something I wanted to show you again, just in case. All right, I'm gonna come down. I wanted to once again demonstrate how, if you find yourself on the floor, an easier way to get yourself up. Many of us often find ourselves in a situation where we can't quite get back up off the floor. But here's the best way that I know how. Okay, say you're on the floor. Turn your body, line your knees up, bring your hands onto your fists, tuck your toes in the back, walk your fists up to your knees, and push with your fists and lift your body up. And I can't tell you how much that has helped me so many times in my life to get back up off the floor when I get stuck. And I'm hoping it will for you too. Okay, a couple more things I wanted to do today. And I think, even though I promised a lot of legs, I'll do them from the chair, just in case you have leg troubles. Come on back down and sit down. Let's begin with one of my favorite joint openers. Up, out, up, and down. Up, out, up, and down. Let's do a few more of these because I really like how they feel. You get the energy flowing, they open up the heart, they open up the body, they bring your energy right in the middle there. And come on back and let your arms swing and take it to Dasana, where the mountain pose, where you ground yourself in the energy as it flows through you. And let's do a couple more things with our hips. Let's do our legs Segway. So here's what I'd like us to do. Pick up your right foot, kick it out, pick it up, bring it down. Up, out, up, down. Let's take a few of these. It's another way to open up those legs, just in case you couldn't get them over and bending. So, and then if you can do that, what we're going to do now is we're going to move this foot. We're going to say out, up, and down. Out, up, out, and down. If you can't do that, keep your legs low. Because at the end of it all, what I'm going to end up asking us to do is to do a fold over on our legs. So I think it's easier if we do it one leg at a time. So out, up, up, and down. Let's take 5 on each leg. That's 3, 4, 5. Then bring that leg over. Put your ankle on your knee. Sit up straight. Take a deep breath in. And let's hinge at the hips, folding our torso over our waist to keep a flat back. And bringing your arms down and tucking your chin. Now, if you can't come down this far, come as far as you can. Whatever makes sense for you. Try to get this leg stretched, and with you're opening up all of those inner thighs this way. And I know sometimes it's hard to lift the leg, but if you can, let's go ahead and do it. If you can't, you can do it down lower and just fold. The dynamics are better from up here though. So come on back up, and let's do the other leg. So I said up and out, up and down. That's 2. There's 3. There's 4. 5. And then bring it up and bring it over. And let's sit up straight. Take a deep breath in. And hinge at the hips, floating down, dropping your chin, dropping your shoulders, and breathing. And come on back up and bring your foot down. I wanted to show you something this time, and it had something to do with breath. It was something I noticed a couple of days ago when I was doing my practice, and I wanted to share it. Okay, what I'd like us to do for our breath right now is to take a few really huge sighs, like, let all that air out. And then what I want us to do is I want us to take 3 giant lion's roars. So deep breath in. One more. Now I'd like us to take a couple sighs again. One more. Did the quality of your sighs change after we did the lion's breath? Mine did. Before we did the lion's breath, I was sighing from, oh, poor me. Oh, not that I'm a victim, but if life wasn't only so tough, I could get over it. And then I did the roar, and then it was like, oh, life is good. I like this. And the quality of my breath shifted. And that's what I'm trying to demonstrate to you today, more than anything, is how the quality of your breath is determined. Like, I had a teacher who always says, like, there's a breath for that. No matter what emotion you're feeling or what you want to feel, there's a breath for that. And so perhaps in the following weeks, I'm going to take some new techniques from breathing and just try to illustrate the feelings that the breath techniques can bring. But for this week, I think I probably need to haul all that back in, do a couple more things, and then it'll be time for Shavasana. So deep breath. Come back into our bodies. Let's take one leg and lift it about 6 inches off the floor. Bring it straight out with your foot flexed, and point and flex your toes. Take 2 more of these. And then bring your leg out to the side and see if you can circle your leg and your foot and your toes. Not a lot, because this pose isn't, this pose sometimes hurts my feet. And so if it hurts mine, it might hurt yours. But I think it's important to go ahead and rotate those ankles and bring it back and set them down. Lift the other leg up, bring it up. Foot is flexed, and we're gonna point and flex, point and flex. One more. Bring it out to the side and rotate your ankles. Now, if it hurts to just do the ankles, go ahead and you can use your lower leg to do that. Go the other way. Bring it back to the center and set it down. I understand that my pattern today has been a little bit different. Sorry about that. It's not always going to be this way, but sometimes they're like that. And today seems to be that way for me. So let's take a deep breath, because yoga is coming together in the center. And as you can see from your teacher today, I'm not always as focused and centered as I could be, but yoga brings me to the center. So what I'd like us to do is take this time to get really comfortable in our chair, sit back, and let's bring ourselves into Shavasana, where we close our eyes and we quietly reflect and bring our being together. And we begin to merge our brain and our talk and our heart and our pelvis and our legs through our breath, letting it all come together in the center and relaxing and taking the time to melt, to let the universe unfold as it will, because it will unfold without us trying to control it. So let's just take a Shavasana. Deep breath in and out. And let yourself breathe as you normally would. I will let you know when it's time to come back. And slowly bring yourself back up. Come on up to the top and start to wake your body back up. Give it the movements it needs. Does it want to lift your leg? That feels good to me. And then the other. Maybe you want to bring your arms out and take a big stretch. Maybe you want to hug yourself. Give yourself what you need. Bring it down and hug yourself down here. Take a deep breath in and let it all out. Another in, and as we let it out, let's chant the sound of Om. Let's bring our hands together in prayer position. And before I thank her, I'd like to thank our one true teacher that brings us together. And in this case today, what I'd like to say my one true teacher has really shown me is it doesn't have to be perfect. Just show up and do the work and be happy. Nothing in life is perfect. And if you catch yourself on a cycle of not giving yourself a break, then it inhibits who we can become and who we are on a daily basis. So I just encourage us to accept ourselves for who we are and let our life be. So the light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.